Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna work on the V-Storm 650 project bike. I'm gonna walk you guys through all the steps, step by step, what it takes to bring an old bike back to life. Stay tuned. Alright guys, you already seen this thing, V-Storm 650, I think 2011, been crashed. I got it from a buddy of mine. Don't know if it runs, we don't know nothing about this bike. All we know is that it's a hunk of junk right now, and we're gonna see if we can bring this thing back to life. So there's a sequence of steps that I take before attempting to start a motorcycle. There's a few things I want to show you guys. It doesn't matter if you got a project bike, you bought it from someone and they said, well, it ran when it parked, but who knows how long that was ago, or if somebody passed you down a bike. If you have a bike or you bought a bike that you know nothing about, this is the way to go. Alright guys, so the very first step we're going to do here is we're going to check and make sure that we got any type of oil in the motor. We are not concerned about the overall condition of the oil right now. We just want to make sure we have fluid in there before we crank. You don't want to be cranking on a dry motor, so this is very important. Two ways to do this. Some bikes have a dipstick that you literally pull out like a car and you can wipe it and see where your oil level is, but many bikes they have a little side glass. I'm going to show you on this bike which one it has. So if you look over here, this has a side glass. It says full and L for low, and you can see the oil level right there. And the oil doesn't even look too bad. I mean, this is good enough for us to start. So number one, make sure you got oil in the motor. All right, number two, and this is an important step. This is where many people screw up. Get a new battery. Don't try to charge the old one. Don't believe the guy that sold you the bike that the battery is only 6 months old. Go get a new battery. It doesn't have to be nothing fancy. Get a cheap one off Walmart, off Amazon. Go to O'Reilly's. Some of your auto parts store actually carry motorcycle batteries. Make sure you get a brand new battery. And here's the problem. I see this in my shop often. Customer bring in the bike, they say, well, it turns over, but it won't start. It's got to be a coil or something. And the problem is that the battery is so low, it's so weak that when you hit the starter literally pulls all the power from the battery to turn the motor over and leaves nothing for the rest of the system. So in many cases, your ignition or your ECU gets nothing to work with. So yeah, the bike, it turns over, but it won't start because the battery is junk. So I already have a new battery prep for this. We're gonna throw that battery in, and that's gonna be step two. So after step two, new batteries in, the next thing you would do now is turn the switch on, the ignition, and make sure that you got power to the system. So lights and gauges and all come on. I don't have no lights, I have no gauges, so I'm just gonna turn the key and then we're gonna hit the starter button and just see if the engine wants to do anything. Oh, you hear that? I heard a fuel pump prime, so we do know that we have power to the system because the fuel pump just turn on, prime the system, turn off. Let's see if it will do that again. Beautiful. All right, I guess we hit the button and just see what it does. Let's see. Okay, I got nothing. Maybe you have a clutch switch. Yes. So it wants to turn over. Let's see. Okay, so motor turns over. This is good. It's not seized, it's not locked up. I'm gonna prime it a few more times and then I'm gonna crank it a little bit more. I don't know, maybe the fuel injection system works and will actually start the bike. If it does, great. If not, then we're gonna keep digging into it. All right, so motor's turning over. I heard the fuel pump priming. I cranked it for a while, but it's not starting. So we have multiple possibilities here. Usually it's whether we have no spark or we have no fuel. So I'm gonna pop the tank off so we can get the spark plugs, and we're gonna do a spark plug test. We're gonna make sure that we have spark, and if that's not a problem, then we're gonna keep going to the fuel injection side, to the fueling system of the bike. So next step, gonna take the tank off. So actually I lied, we can get to the spark plug without taking the tank off. So I'm gonna get a spark tester, we're gonna plug it in, and we're gonna make sure that we have spark before I pull the tank off. So if you have never seen one of these guys, this is a spark tester. It plugs in between your spark plug and the plug wire, and it has a diode in here, and it would flash, and that would let you know if you have spark or not. There's different ways to do this, you know, you can... No, I'm not going to tell you the other ways. This is a safe way to do. Forget all the other ways. This is the way to go. All right, right here's the spark plug tester. So I'm going to turn the motor over again and we see if we got spark. All right, like you could see, we have no spark. So this is most likely our issue why the bike won't run. Now we have to diagnose why doesn't it have any spark. Very, very likely something happened during the crash. Some of these bikes have a tip over sensor. Basically what it is, it kills the spark when the bike goes down over a certain degree, so the bike doesn't stay running with it laying on its side. So I'm gonna have to hunt that down now and see what the problem is. So very likely I'm gonna take the tank off anyways and take the air filter box, all this out of the way, and work my way to the electrics. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so I found the tip over switch and it was definitely broken. I shaked it and it was making a lot of noise, so I took it apart. Let me show you guys how it looks on the inside. This is it right here, and it has that thing that swivels around, and depending, it has to land in certain position to make contact. So if the bike lays upside down or something, this moves out of the way and it just cuts everything off. So I believe I have found the position of the tip over sensor, and we're gonna fire it up, or we're gonna see now what it does. So we got fuel pump again. Okay, we got crank, but we got nothing. Let me play a little bit with this guy. Maybe I find a position where it might work. So what I'm doing right now is I'm turning around that swivel and see if I find a position where it actually wants to fire. So what I did now is I zip tied this thing on here so I don't have to hold it, and I'm going to keep playing with this angle here and see if we can get this thing going. So a few days have passed. I established that the tip over sensor was bad, and actually off camera I got the bike running real quick. So I had that sensor apart like I showed you before, and I was just messing with the position of that little swivel thing, and actually at one point the bike ran for a few seconds. So I knew that this was bad. So I ordered a used one off eBay. I plugged it in and check this out. Yeah, she's alive. All right, So yeah, she's alive. Good deal. Obviously, I can't let it run too long because still the water pump is still messed up. There's still no fluid in the radiator. You know, a few seconds is fine, but I cannot keep it really running long until I fix that. What else has been going on? Yeah, I put a subframe on. I ordered that in. I got this all figured out. So the bike was missing the subframe. I ordered a used one off eBay. Put that on. Obviously, everything bolted right on because it's for this bike. And let me show you where that sensor sits. Hold on. Let me get up. If you can see right here, this is where the tip over switch sits, and it says up. So it needs to be in this position. If not, the bike won't run because it thinks that it's laying on its side. So here we are. The bike fires up. It sounds good. I'm happy with it. So from here on now, it needs only everything else. I need to figure out an exhaust. I do have a new set of forks for the front because one is bent and one is completely destroyed. I have a used set here that I ordered off eBay. I'm going to put new fork seals in it and maybe even a spring kit. But I'm thinking, since somebody upgraded the rear suspension on this bike, I'm going to take the front one apart first. And maybe I'm lucky and somebody already put springs in it. Then I might be able to reuse those springs in the new forks, in the new suspension. If I'm lucky. If not, then I go to HyperPro and just order a set of springs. So yeah, this is where I'm at. Bike once. I show you guys, the steps that make sense. Go one by one, get the bike running. And from here on now, you can do whatever you want. You can paint, you can do body work, whatever you want. Now you're good to go because now you know that the bike runs and you're not wasting your money on accessories or whatever. So keep in mind, get the bike running first and then do the rest. And with that in mind, guys, let me know what you guys want to see with this. You want me to build it? You want me to just restore it? What should we do with this bike? Because I don't know, I have no clue. I want you guys to tell me what you guys want to see. Alright guys, and that's all what I have for today. Please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Comment. Let me know what you guys want to see. And I see you guys in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.